Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be talking about BW6, but before that, so many things. Also, look at Lewis, this is from BW Chaos. Let me mute it in the meantime. Anyways, music time. There you go. Today we're going to be talking about BW6, but before I get into it, a couple of things. First, before I advertise the stream, comment challenge, okay? Comment challenge. I already said this on stream yesterday. If you weren't there, you would have missed this. Name your most requested player between BW6 and MCC to return to the event. You know, someone who has previously played but hasn't played recently. Maybe they retired. Maybe they said they're no longer willing to play, etc. Name who you want to see, and just like every single one that you agree with in the comments. And I'm curious to see what the results are. Okay, I just want to see little experiment for you, interactive engagement moment. Okay, very fun. Anyways, next up, I'm going to be live earlier today, actually. This is the planned time for me to start, because with the whole Minecraft drops and just early streams in general, I want to, I want to stream for the people who typically may not be able to watch. This may be, this is when I plan to start. I might be like 15 minutes late, but around this time, if you know these time zones, you'll be able to watch the stream. We're going to be doing MCC Pride team predictions. I already said this on stream as well yesterday, but MCC Pride team predictions, I wanted to do them yesterday, but I had other stuff planned, so we're going to do it today. And then after MCC Pride team predictions, we're going to be doing PvP practice, because I've been doing a lot of parkour and movement, and I want to get better at PvP a little bit, okay? I'm washed. I will admit, slightly washed. Anyways, enough advertisement for today. Next up, BW6. This was definitely an interesting event, I would say, in terms of how it affected BW and how we handled things. I'm going to go over the teams from red to pink, and every single team has probably a little bit of something to it. So let's get into it. Red team had two newcomers, of course, one of them being the most notable one, being Clown Pierce, which who was expected to way better than they ended up actually doing. Internally, I think we predicted Clown Pierce to do roughly top 5 individual, because we thought he was like a Feinberg-esque player where he's just really good at the game. But seems like he's not the event type of guy. I could have probably known if I asked Red at the time, but I didn't. So Red team ended up underperforming quite a lot. Well, not underperforming. Red team ended up performing as they probably should have, but we ended up underestimating or overestimating their performance ability, I guess, whatever, right? We accidentally nerfed that team. Next up, Orange team. Something that's interesting about the Orange team is it's the only team where Feinberg hasn't placed first individual. I think the first ind if this event went to Purpled because his team was a little broken. We'll get to that later. But yeah, first and only time that Feinberg placed second individual instead of first. Crazy statistic, but it is true. Next up, Yellow team. Nothing too special, I think, going on here. This was just a pretty standard team for BW at the time. Zam was supposed to be on this team instead of Lewis, which I guess would have probably changed the dynamic a little bit, because it seemed to have been built to be extremely silly goofy, and Lewis is also silly goofy, but he's a little bit more level-headed, I would say. Kind of close enough, I guess. Next up, Lime Lions. This one was interesting. I think we were really hyped about this at the time because Sneak and Puns were at the forefront of Minecraft content creation, or at least streaming, and that was a big moment, obviously, for us, because BW was still actively trying to make a name for itself. And yeah, Sneak and Puns was a very nice team for them to be introduced with. I think this team ended up placing second. Yeah, they did. Which, I mean, it was a pretty strong team. Also, Cub returning. I think Ant asked Cub to play, so that was nice to see Cub back as well. Very much a redemption arc from the last time Cub played, because Cub only had played one event previously, which was BW 4, I think, where he was given a pretty weak team. So glad to see, obviously, that in this instance there was redemption. But yeah, very interesting team. Obviously, Sneak nowadays is a very active BW player and is very supportive of the event. Puns also was pretty active in the event up until recently. And yeah, good Lime team. Next up, Teal Turtles. Probably the second most interesting team in terms of what happened this event. If you don't know already, this Teal Turtles team has 3 players on it that were not supposed to be there originally. if I pull up the tab here, this was supposed to be the original teal team. Originally, this was supposed to have Ghosty and Puffy as newcomers, and Shane was on this originally as well. What ended up happening was Ghosty and Puffy were both unavailable to play in the event. I don't know the reason. I think Ghosty was traveling or something like that, and I don't really know what Puffy was up to. But yeah, this was supposed to be Ghosty's debut instead of Pride, and Puffy was supposed to play in Block Wars, which we haven't seen her since, obviously. Maybe we'll see her back. Shane ended up dropping out by choice. I talked to him about it because if you look at the team here, you'll be able to tell that the substitutions were definitely buffs. I mean, Samalot had only played once, I think, before, and not done too well. Becky had also played once, I think, and also not done too well. So they were supposed to be like the balancing factors, I guess, for the lower end, maybe. But yeah, with Shane on this, it would have been absolutely disgusting. And we were kind of trying to prevent having one insanely OP team. Now, if you look at the points here, definitely didn't succeed too well. This team still demolished the competition and ended up winning, which I guess is not, it's not a bad thing. It was just like, kind of a handed free win. Because, yeah, I mean, if Shane was on this team, this number would have probably had like an extra 2,000 in it, or maybe 3, who knows. Anyways, next up, Blue Bears. What's interesting about this team is that this was the last event that 3 of these players ended up playing for a very long time. The only exclusion here is Kara, who played in Block Wars Rookies 2, but both Pete and Jordan have not made an appearance in Block Wars since this event, which, I understand. I think this team ended up getting 7th, which can hurt. At the time, I think Block Wars still had like Sky Zone and not the most polished and greatest game roster, so it could definitely be a little bit rough. And I can see why maybe a performance like this on a team that looks really strong could be a little demotivating. So unlucky, unfortunate, but yeah, I mean that's about it. For the rest, I don't think anything particular happened with this team. Maybe it did. I haven't heard about it, so that's about it. Purple team next. Obviously had an insane trio. Not going to get into it very much, but the fact that trio was possible and ended up placing 4th as a team kind of showcases the problem that Block Wars is dealing with for a little bit. And, I'm glad that we no longer have to worry about those things. 2 of the people from this top, I mean, obviously, if JoJo and Curry were to be on a team nowadays, it would still be very notable. It'd be like, oh, okay, that's possible, but I guess because it's teams of 5, depending on the rest of the team, maybe it makes sense. Anyways, next up, and last but especially not least, is the pink team, because the pink team is probably the reason for what I assume the title maybe is. It changed the trajectory of Block Wars ever so slightly, or at least kickstarted it. Okay, the way I would perceive it is, if you have an avalanche and you throw a snowball down and it like slightly kickstarts it, but then one more push and the whole avalanche takes place. That's how I would perceive this pink team, because at the time this pink team was insane to have in Block Wars. It was not like, if you were just a standard person perceiving Block Wars, this is not anything you would have predicted. It makes no sense, but I'm very glad that it ended up happening, because it, like said, changed the trajectory of Block Wars ever so slightly. I would say this is this is like the start of the start. Block Wars Rookies 1 is the proper start. We'll get into that at a later point whenever we get to Block Wars Rookies in the recaps. But yeah, this team, obviously, Saikuno has played another time. John and Timmy we haven't seen since, but I have talked with them, and it seems possible that they may return at a future moment. No guarantees. But maybe we'll see this team run it back. I'm super grateful that Five was able to, or was willing to bring this team in. It was his offer for just to make sure that people understand. This was not me being like, hey, can you please bring these people? It was like, hey, can I bring these people? I think it'd be cool. And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, it's sick. So yeah, very cool team. And hopefully we'll see them back, whether it's as the full 5-stack or more sporadically, more spread out in a event, whether it's duos, solos, trios, etc. Who knows? Anyways, a very cool team. one thing that ended up happening was after the event, you have this message from Sakudo. He said, "Can we have block wars for bad players only?" This is one of the few messages Sakudo ended up sending in the Discord, and obviously, 3 events later, technically, we did block wars rookies. I will say, we didn't concept the idea from this message. I had already concepted an idea based around MCC Underdogs, which was just an event that mainly focuses on variety and lower skilled players to kind of make an event that is welcoming for them to play in. And, Saikuno kind of supporting this concept did kind of kickstart the production behind it. This kind of started the fact that we were like, okay, we turned this concept into reality. And now that we've done it twice, I am so happy that we decided to do Block Wars Rookies. It is wonderful and fantastic and just great. Thank you, Saikuno, for the vouch. Hopefully we'll see you back in another one, because I don't think he wasn't in Block Wars Rookies 2. He was in Block Wars Rookies 1, but Block Wars Rookies 1 was not the best execution of Block Wars Rookies. Say Block Wars Rookies 2 was a lot better, because if you look at, we'll get into this at a later moment, but if you look at the top 2 teams in both events, you'd understand the pretty significant difference and why Block Wars Rookies 2 is definitely more favored compared to Block Wars Rookies 1, because one of them has a little bit more Minecraft players and good players, and one of them has a little bit more variety. Well, not a little bit. It's just exclusively variety players, pretty much. The only Minecrafter, really, it was like Sneak in Block Wars Rookies 2. So, anyways, yeah, that's it for Block Wars 6 recap. Let me know your thoughts on this, and whether you watch it, what are your thoughts on this event. Reminder, stream at this time. Probably going to be a slight bit late, maybe like 15 minutes, but there will be stream MCC Pride, team predictions, as requested by the audience, and Minecraft PvP practice afterwards. Alright, thank you for watching, I'll see you all on stream, goodbye!